Welcome back. I'm Michelle from YFS, and with me again today is Mel from the YFS legal team. How are you going, Mel?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So today we're continuing on our discussion around domestic violence and domestic violence orders. If anyone has seen or wants to re-see or hasn't seen any of the past videos that we've done, they're on the YFS website, yfs.com.au. Today we're going to be talking about mediation, but in particular mediation for custody when there's children involved and a domestic violence order in place. Okay, so what do people need to know about mediation in those situations?
Okay, so mediation is meant for parents to come up with an agreement for their children about how they move forward. So who they're going to spend time with, who they're going to live with, and who's going to make the decisions for them. Yeah. And that's a really important step if you've got a domestic violence order in your family, because what you want to do is to prevent or to minimise the amount of contact and negotiation you have to have with someone who's perpetrated violence against you. You have to take back your control, which has usually been taken away from you. Yeah. So the process of mediation can be difficult. We suggest that you contact Relationships Australia and have them help you through it. Otherwise, you can contact Legal Aid as well, and they do run lawyer-assisted mediations, which sometimes can help you through that process even more because you know you've both got lawyers to advocate for you. And the point of that, as I said, was to stop you having to have too much contact. It stops you from having to field contact from the perpetrator every couple of days saying, can I have contact with the kids? Can I see the kids? And it just then allows you to breathe, to rebuild yourself, because that's a very important job that you now have to do to move forward, and to get on with the business of parenting and living your life without this domestic violence. The mediation and the parenting plan or parenting order that comes out of that also acts as a further barrier to any domestic violence. If they don't have the ability to contact you, they don't need to contact you about parenting, then there's less control that they can try and exercise over your life.
Yeah, and so a parenting agreement essentially outlines who, what, where, and even when sometimes, right?
That's right. Okay. It absolutely should involve all of those things. Yes. The only thing it doesn't need is the why.
Yeah, okay. Now, in terms of settings for where mediation occurs, you know, and I imagine for some people, you really want to make sure that it's a safe space for everyone, right?
That's right. So we would not recommend you mediate yourself or with a family member. We recommend you use a service. We recommend Relationships Australia or Uniting Care, whoever runs those mediation services that are formal, or seeking mediation through Legal Aid. You can also contact QUT. They do mediations at a lower cost rather than at a no cost.
Right.
Or if you do have money, you can pay for a private mediator, but those are quite expensive.
Okay, I was going to ask about the cost of mediation because, you know, that's probably one thing when you start thinking about lawyers and stuff like that, you know, that is one thing that comes to mind, absolutely. Particularly if you have limited access to funds.
That's right. So Relationships Australia are low cost. So they look at your income. Yes. They'll do a means test. Okay. So they may charge you nothing. They may charge you $60 for that mediation.
Okay.
Legal Aid Queensland, they can provide the full cost of the lawyer. They can cover that cost. If you do have income over and above their means threshold, they may ask you to pay a contribution towards that. Depends on what your income is. Yep. If you're looking at QUT, they charge about $200 an hour. Okay. So it's not expensive, but it is expensive.
Yeah, of course.
But if you're
watching money.
Yeah, if you're then looking at private mediation, you're looking at $5,000 for the day from each parent. So that's not together. That's $5,000 from each parent to employ the solicitors and the mediator and hire the rooms. That is a whole day mediation. Okay. So you're paying for these people for the whole day, whereas Relationships Australia is 2 hours mediation and Legal Aid is 4. Yeah. I don't know how, I think the QUT is paid by the hour. So there are services for every person. Yep. None of these services are exclusive to people who have money. Everyone needs assistance with these, everyone who has families. So you can access the services you need.
And, you know, in terms of the purpose of mediation, as you said before, it's around developing a parenting agreement so that there's a real formal structure in place for those contacts that need to occur and how they occur and stuff like that, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that parenting plan will act to protect the victim of domestic violence. It acts to protect the perpetrator of domestic violence from committing any further acts,
Yep.
and also protects the children from being exposed to that. So they act essentially to protect everyone.
Yeah.
They regulate the children's contact with each of their parents, and that helps with children with their routine, and it will help them cope with the separation of their parents.
Okay. Now, if anyone has any further questions or wants further information, a good starting point, contact YFS on 3826 1500.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.